And we are live, going live here. Opa, I see it also on Instagram. This is the first time that I do it in both platforms. Welcome back, guys. We are live right now, and I'm live here on YouTube and also on Instagram. I'm doing a test trying to go live on both platforms at the same time. Today, I have another very special guest. You might have seen the podcast that I did yesterday with her sister, Yara, and today I have the privilege to talk to another brave Druze young lady living in Norway. Her name is Lina. Welcome to the show, Lina.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
It's our pleasure. For those of you who don't know, and I want to first, after talking to your sister yesterday, it was a very important conversation, but also a very hard one to have. And I want to share again my sincere condolences for the loss of your family, for the loss of your
Thank
brother.
you.
For those of you who don't know, this family came from Syria. They're living in Norway. Her brother, a young Druze man who went to Syria to meet with his fiancée, ended up being murdered by the Syrian regime only for the fact that he is Druze, nothing else. And as we're speaking right now, there is an ongoing genocide, a real genocide attempt that is happening on the Druze people in the mountain of Sueda in Syria. And that sectarian genocide attempt is happening just because of racism, because they don't share the same faith, and because they don't agree to succumb to Sharia law. And today I have a very special guest that was brave enough to come again and show her face. And as I've told you before, it's been a challenge for me to find Druze people that are willing to come and speak out, given the circumstances that we're living here in Europe. So I highly appreciate what you're doing here, Lina.
Thank you.
And I want to ask you, if you don't mind, just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, so my name is Lina and I'm 22 years old. I have a bachelor in history and now I'm on my master. I have started on my master degree. And I was born and raised here. I don't think there is many Druze from Sweden who's born and raised here. So yeah, that's pretty much all about me.
Wow, so you're 22, you said 22 years old?
Yeah.
And
Mm.
you already started your master in history.
Yeah, yeah, I jumped right after high school to the university, and now I'm just continuing.
Here you go, the Druze way for you guys. I tell you
Yeah.
what, for us Israelis, it's always fascinating because we have the military service. So I finished my military service. Well, the first time I took a break was at the age of 23. And I
Yeah.
started the university at the age of 25 or 6. And that's
Mm.
normal in Israel. So when we come and we hear young people coming at the age of 22 already doing a master, thinking
Yeah.
like, wow, they got a good life,
Yeah.
have a good life. And you're studying the history of the Middle East, is that correct?
Yeah, I'm studying history in general, but specifically I'm like focusing on the Middle East. So from the ancient Greece to today.
Wow. Now, I want to jump right in and start asking a few questions that I feel that are important for the crowd and for us here. The first one is, how would you describe the current humanitarian crisis that our people in Syria are facing right now?
Yeah, so as my sister mentioned yesterday, the situation is absolutely devastating. The city is still under siege, and the humanitarian aid is barely making it through. And once it makes it through, or the things they can make it through, doesn't reach everyone. And we are not just talking about those who are not living in their homes. We're also talking about those who were lucky to have their home but do not have the money or fuel or anything to go out and get this aid, or they do not receive it at all.
Hmm. There was a lot of
So
displaced people, right? There was a lot of people that also fled from
yeah,
the six villages.
into Sweden, yeah, like the center of it. So those who fled, we are talking about people who once had their homes, their villas, their houses, their apartments like me here in Norway. They also had their own house, which they didn't need anyone, you know, and now they are like in school and public places. And in those public places, we are not talking about school in Norway, you know, there is only one bathroom for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people who are sitting there. So they do not have a shower, they do not have a kitchen, for example. It's not like this. If we say school, you know, here in Norway, we imagine like you have the showers, you have the kitchen on the break room, you have many toilets. There is only like one or two, maybe,
Wow, no, that's
unfortunately.
insane. Now, we're talking about people that are had to flee their houses because their houses were burned, their families were murdered. We have a lot of
Yeah.
injured people, saying that there's not almost any aid that has been allowed to go in. Can you help the people back home understand how big is the population we're talking about in the mountain of Sweden?
We are talking about over 30 villages around Sweden. So we are talking about like hundred of thousand people. In Sweden, I'm not sure exactly how many Druze there are in Sweden right now, because obviously many of them died too. But if we say like 500,000 Druze in Sweden now, it's more than half of them who was driven by their homes, and they cannot return to their villages because, as you said, their home is on the ground now. There is nothing left, and there is still bodies on the street.
Wow.
So it's large numbers, and you know, not everyone goes to the school because there is not much space there too. So there are many people who is renting in Sweden, in the city center, who barely can afford to rent, and the price is now incredibly high. So they are barely just making it by, and
Barely
they are
making
not
it.
getting aid.
They're not getting the aid. They're barely getting medical aid. I know that a lot of the medical aid that has been sent to Sweden has actually been sent by Israel. A dear friend of mine, Amira Kara, she's a doctor in Israel. She's a Druze doctor. She's the daughter of Ayub Kara, who's a politician in our government in Israel. Because in Israel, Druze get to be in government, they get to become doctors, and they get to live freely, and they get to go to universities, and they get to have civil rights. I had my entire university degree sponsored by the state of Israel just because I was part of a minority group. I'm not joking.
Wow.
I didn't even ask for it. I didn't know that they're gonna pay for it. I went to pay regular. I was an officer in the army. I had money. I went to pay for my degree, and then I realized the lady, a Jewish lady, in the a cleric kind of in the university office came and told me, "You don't need to pay. You're a Druze. Here, you have this scholarship from the government, and you have this scholarship. And if you go and volunteer with children in need in the streets." Twice a week in the middle of the night, just go in an ambulance and go look for kids that might have ran away from their homes and did drugs, and just sit with them and talk to them and be like a good older brother for them. We'll pay you 20 more percent. So I end up actually making money from
Yeah.
studying in Israel. But in
What a
Israel,
big difference.
yeah, it's a bit different. And we started talking about students and how are the life of Druze students. You're a student yourself. How are the students in Syria right now? The Druze one, let's focus on the Druze. How are they
The
doing?
Druze, yeah, the Druze. They are. I feel so sorry for them, and like it breaks my heart to see the videos that people are publishing about the Druze. They are getting beaten up, threatened by their lives. You can see it on many videos, not only one. I have sent you one, but it's terrible, and they cannot continue their education because they are threatened. Some of them get killed, and not only those who are outside Sweden. I'm talking in all of Syria. The same thing is happening. They are getting beaten up, they are getting harassed, they are getting threatened, and those who are still in Sweden doesn't have the opportunity to continue their education at all. And those who finished before everything happened doesn't have the chance to go and get their diploma, for example. There is no way to go there, and they are not giving it to them too.
So you're telling me right now that almost all the Druze students in Syria, their education have put on hold because they
Yeah,
had
you
to
can
flee
say
for
it
their
like
life.
that. Yeah.
They had to go flee for their life because they were threatened to be killed, kidnapped, made sex slaves. Let me just upload one of the videos that you sent me. So once I upload it, it's probably gonna go full volume. So just so that you know.
So this video is for the little kids in school who are now, they have to say Allahu Akbar before they start the day. It's another video that I sent you where you see the physical violence against the university students.
Let's see that video. I might have to stop it if it's too violent, but let's open it up.
I
So just
tried to like pick the least violent one.
the least violent one. Okay, let's try. So here are students gathering and beating a Druze student just because he's Druze. I think I've
Yeah.
seen other cameras of that video that are way more brutal. There's blood. There's people chanting
Yeah,
Allah Akbar,
it's
saying he's a
terrible.
Druze, he's a Druze. Someone is asking who is who, so I'll explain it quickly. What happened there is a Druze student that was caught to be Druze because most Druze students fled. And he maybe thought that he might actually, Druze, not Jews, that he might actually be able to finish his studies. Because when you think about it, Syria is a poor country. It's a poor country, and the minority, especially in Syria, one of the ways to actually out of this poverty and of this hard life is to go into study, to be educated, become doctors, teachers, and etc. So he decided to try to go to university, and then they identified that he's Druze, and then all the other students went on him and started lynching him. That
Yeah.
comes following an incident that happened a few months ago where the students have made a jihad on the Druze. Now, when I heard the word student, I went to watch the video and I was expecting to see what you imagine students in Europe. Girls looking like Lina, dressed
Mm.
normally, boys with normal clothes sitting on the grass with their laptops, with a latte macchiato on one hand and just crazy hair. That was my university. One of the things that I loved
Yeah.
about university, that was like, finally I can grow my hair, like go wild. I was in the army until then. I can dress with my,
Mm.
you know, beach surfing shirts and X-Men shirts and I don't know what, and just go and sit in the class. And oh, behold, when I opened that video, it looked like it was some ISIS Taliban guys with beards standing there chanting Allahu Akbar and then saying that they're declaring jihad on all the Druze students and that they're allowed to kill them. And then they started sending the room numbers to other ISIS and Al Qaeda fighters to go and find. That's where the Druze girls are, the Sabiya, go and kidnap them. That's where the boys are.
Yeah.
And that's when the Druze have fled. And I am in touch with many Druze students up until now that still can't go back to their school studies, can't finish their school studies. Lena, I want to jump kind of in and hear really your insight. I mean, I have my ideas, but why do you
Mm.
think that the government in Syria and the Syrian people, the Muslims there, are attacking the Druze right now? Why are they trying to kill them? Why are they not letting them go to school? Why are they trying to make their life miserable and technically genocide them? What's the reason?
Obviously, the first one is because we do not have the same religion. We are not Muslims. It's for us, for the Christians, for also for other minorities like Alawites and Kurds. But I think that what we're seeing in Syria today, it's not about politics that much. It's about ideology. And some groups are using religion as a weapon to, especially against the non-Muslims, to like it's terrible, you know, when you see it in that way, because it didn't used to be like that before. But many of us have seen how Islamic teachings and interpretation are being used or misused to justify violence and discrimination and control, whether the people call it extremism or true belief. The reality is that it is destroying lives. And it's
But it
such a
wasn't like
big theme.
it wasn't like this before, right?
No, I don't think it was. If it was, it wasn't in this form, you know, in this clarity that we see today.
Mhm.
Before, you could like wear whatever you want, believe in whatever you want, pray wherever you want. Today, it's not the same, obviously. Like even me here in Norway, had an episode with one Syrian where I was walking just in the hallway wearing my star, not saying anything, just like minding my own business. And it was really hard, you know, because it was the period where I was trying to figure out if it was my brother on the pictures that we were sent or not. So I was just walking by, and then I hear her say like, "Oh, one of the pigs is walking by,"
A girl said
and
that.
a girl, yeah. And I stopped and looked at her, and I answered her in Arabic. "Are you talking to me? What do you mean?" "No, you are kuffar, pigs, khanazir, and we're going to kill you. We're going to get you wherever you want, wherever you are, and you're not safe anywhere." And I haven't seen this hatred or in this form before. I don't know if it's something like which was deep inside them all the time, and now they got the chance to say it out loud, or if it just is something new.
This is
Yeah,
in Norway, in a university in Norway, a Muslim Syrian.
University of Oslo.
And you said that this happened while you were trying to figure out if the pictures that were sent to your phone were the pictures of your brother.
Yeah, it was in that time period, because when you see a dead body, you do not want to like hop to conclusions before you are sure. And yeah, and I had to go to university because I will not disappoint him. I will still keep going, and I see this strength in every Druze, especially the Druze in Sweden, how they are still going after losing all of their family, basically.
Wow. I'm sorry to ask that again. I know it's a very hard topic, and you can tell me you don't want to talk about it, and I completely understand. But some of the viewers here might not have seen the episode with your sister. Do you mind telling a little bit about what happened to your brother?
Yes, I think it's important to talk about it, even though it's very hard. So my brother lived in the United Arab Emirates. He had his own business, and he was engaged to a beautiful Druze girl, which he was going to see in this summer. And just to say, me and my family here in Norway were also going to go to Syria this summer, but I don't know why, but we just like waited a little bit because there were some problems, you know, from May and from when the regime fell. So everything was fine in a sense, not fine, but like okay, till the 13th of July, when things started to happen, like on the checkpoints, and then 14th of July they entered brutally. And my brother was a very, very brave man. And like, he just wanted to protect women. He said that before he died to some of the other guys who were with him. He said, "I will not leave this place. I will still fight so the women, the kids, and the elderly have time to flee, even if it's like, if it's 5 minutes, I will fight to my last breath." And that's what he did. So they were standing in his town, which is called Tara, and they were just holding them back. You know, they came in with tanks, with big weapons, and they managed to hold them back for a very long time. But at the end, when the Bedouins and the Syrian government saw that, oh, okay, these people are strong. We cannot win this without other type of weapons. So they brought in the drones, and first time it hit the place that he was fighting from. It didn't reach him, but his cousin was killed. But he didn't want to leave his cousin. He wanted at least to get his body and get out of there. And he managed to save many of his friends who was injured when the drone attacked. He was very brave. And at the end, when the drone struck for the third time, I think it got him, basically. So we tried to call him on that day many times, and then someone answered, but it wasn't his voice. It was another dialect, and we can see the difference in the dialect, we can hear it. So it wasn't the Druze or the dialect they speak in Sweden. And we were like, where is Nasser? And he said oh, haven't you heard? We killed him. And he said it in a funny way. And we were like, no, but where is he? Stop lying. And you're in denial, you're shouting, you're crying. And he's like, yeah, but don't worry, we tortured him well first. And then that wasn't enough, so he went on and took a picture of his body. And one person of his close family had to see that picture, and I was that person who had to identify him.
My God.
Yeah, so that was very hard. And I saw the picture, and I saw that the person in the picture is dead. But you try to find everything which is wrong with the picture that doesn't make him in the picture. So it took some time to realize it, but that's how it went, and it was him, unfortunately.
So sorry you had.
Yeah, there is something more I think is really important to say and expose, for that matter. They took his body to Damascus, and there they buried it. But there is no record of him entering the hospital, but he did. And he got a number, and they buried him in a grave that they called the grave for the far away. The people that doesn't have anything to do with Syria. And there are hundreds of Druze who is buried in that grave in Damascus.
So they practically made mass graves there for foreigners and people that they murdered and slaughtered.
Yeah.
How did you get to know that he was buried there?
I cannot tell you specifically because of the persons who were so kind, but there are still some kind persons there in those hospitals.
Muslims.
From every religion, really, not Muslims only, like Christians, and yeah.
Yeah. No, I know. There is good people in every torn war zone, and often they risk their own life to try to help.
Exactly. That's why I don't want to address their names or specifically how we got to know this. But they are also in danger.
My God, I'm so sorry you had to go through that. The girl in her 20s. Tell me that your mom did not see that picture.
No, she's not allowed. She should have the beautiful picture in her mind.
Okay, wow.
And when you see it like that, my case is not the worst case. You have some stories, I bet you have seen the videos, which are terrible. Terrible. And at least my brother's body got to be buried, but many many Druze bodies is still laying on the street and getting eaten by animals and is rotting on the street basically.
Because they're not letting anyone go to these villages. There was 36 villages that were sieged and destroyed and burned down by the Syrian regime and the Bedouins, and up until now people cannot go and identify the deads or even find them because the Druze are still in siege, just to give context to people here.
Yeah, and there are snipers everywhere, and they are still trying to get inside Sweden, so they are not planning on stopping, to say it like that.
Lina, personal question for you. I was in the army, I was in the special forces, I've seen dead people, but it was usually my enemies, and I still remember the first dead person that I saw, and he was not my brother, he was not my family. And my question is, how are you handling this? How are you dealing with this? Are you just, I can put myself in your shoes even.
Yeah, no, it's really hard. I think I'm still in denial because when I talk about him, I don't think that he's dead. I think that he's just still on the holiday or still are in UAE and managing his business. But no, it's really hard, and it's a battle every day to wake up and still keep life going. But if the woman and the children and every Druze in Sweden is managing to like have hope and try to move forward, then the least thing I can do is also do the same, and I will not stop. Not only for Nasser, but for every Druze in Sweden.
Well, I think you're very brave, and I think, your parents must have done an amazing job, and it just shows what kind of brother you must have had, because I spoke to your sister and I was so impressed, and I'm speaking to you now and I'm so impressed. And I tell you what, I really hope that by being here and speaking about it and also telling his story to the world, you're doing honor with your brother, and you're doing honor with many of the Druze there that don't have a voice. I wish I could have every single one of them come on my show and just speak out the things that happened there, because they're trying to silence us. And the name of this video, the thumbnail that I chose, when I put your picture on it and I said, the Druze will not be silenced, and we will not go silent into the void, into the dark, will not let them erase us from the face of this earth. We have a voice, we are humans, we want peace, we want to live, we have our rights, and we're not going to go silent into this massacre that is happening in Syria and many other places. And let me tell you something, guys, many of you would not like to hear it, but Israel is the only place that is actually protecting Druze in the Middle East. So wake up. Any activists out there that want to join Greta Thunberg and her, dimwit friends, start marching for the Druze in Syria. Start marching for the Christians in Syria, for the Yazidis, for the Alawites, for the Kurds, for the Christians in Sudan, in Nigeria, in Congo, in all these places that are happening. So many bad things are happening under Muslim occupation around the world, but all of you are being silent, and it's just a disgrace. Where are all the women's rights, humans' rights, children rights? Wow. Coming back to Syria right now, the winter is coming. And the winter, we know Syria and have quite a hard winter. It's maybe not a German winter, but it's definitely hotter than the Israeli winter. And also, they don't have the same houses and house heating like we have here. Let's be honest.
No, absolutely not.
What do you think is gonna? How bad is it gonna be, you think, in the winter now?
I think it's going to be really, really, really bad. I think if we don't do anything, if we don't try to bring in help like wool clothing, blankets, and fuel, also basic things to survive the cold, many of them are going to die. So it's a very critical situation.
Pregnant mothers, little babies. Yeah, I really pray that Israel will not listen to the world and just go and give them everything they need, because there's a lot of pressure on Israel coming from Turkey, from Qatar, from Saudi Arabia, in some ways from America, even telling them like, don't get involved there. So I really, really hope that these things will be able to reach there, and that the people there, I can't imagine all these young mothers and children and elderly
Yeah,
people.
the elderly.
You know, the people, imagine an older person in Syria, you survive Assad, you live in one of the worst pieces of land on the face of this earth. You survive Assad, the butcher, and all the things that he's done to his people, and all you want is to live in peace. And then, towards the end of your days, the Assad regime falls down, and the Druze had a big part in that, in repelling him and
Yeah,
protected many of the Muslims there that came to kill them later on. They hid them in their houses, and now finally they think, okay, maybe I can at least die with some dignity and in peace. And then they come to slaughter them. They shave their beards, they cut their mustaches, they humiliate them, and now they leave them there under siege in the cold. Wow, that's
there is no
a
words left.
no. But we're not gonna be silent. We're gonna talk about it.
No, no,
Can you
absolutely no.
can you explain to me the situation with the kidnapping, the torture, and the abuse of civilians? Why do you think
Yes.
it's happening, and how is it happening?
So they basically took many Druze, especially women, when they got in Sweden, and the women, I think my sister said it yesterday, they are taken as sex slaves. So when they are kidnapped, it's not like, for example, on a plane, or you know what I mean. It's really being kidnapped, really being tortured, and some of them are sending videos, which is very hard to see. And why they kidnapped, you can say it's only because we are Druze and Christians, and we are not like them, and there is really no good explanation to why they did that. They did that, and it's what they are doing with the kidnapped ones, who is devastating, who is they want to torture not only those who are kidnapped, but those who are far away, by sending videos, by calling the families, by they want to kidnap, they want to torture every Druze, not only the kidnapped ones. But have to we have to bring back those who are kidnapped, the children who also are being raped and taken as sex slaves. It's not only women, like in adults, children. We're talking about children.
Wow. Wow. Do you think that, do you believe Sweden is gonna remain part of Syria, or do you think that the Druze are gonna have their own land?
I think that Sweden must become its own state to survive, so that the Christians and Druze can survive. Because you cannot trust these monsters, to say it straightforward. You cannot trust them. They have broken the trust. They are still trying to kill us. It didn't end in July. They are still going. And there is just no hope for Sweden being a part of Syria anymore. It should be its own state. And it should be like, it should get financial support from other countries, which is not countries like Syria. Not only Syria, but countries like Syria, far away from them. Like the US, like Europe, like Israel, like ones who really can help build up Sweden again.
So you're thinking that the Druze can never go back to be under the Syrian government. That trust that was broken there can never be fixed after what
It's
they did.
impossible. It's impossible to fix that. And there was a time where Sultan Bashar al-Atrash, he said no, we are going to stay loyal to Syria when he got offered like that Sweda, or it should become its own state and called Jabal al-Druze, and he said no. But I think this time we should not make the same mistake. If we are to survive this, we cannot remain a part of Syria.
No, we have to. We have to learn to take care of ourselves. The chief of staff of the Israeli Defense Force, the IDF, said during these massacres of the Druze in Syria, after the massacres of the Christians and the Alawites, he came and he said, what we're seeing right now happening in Syria is a sharp reminder that in the Middle East, if you can't protect yourself, you will always end up with a violent fate. People will come to kill you and you won't be able to defend yourself. And sad to say, the only ones that properly can defend, not sad, but it's a reality, that properly can defend themselves is Israel. All the rest
Are doomed.
they have to hide, they have to keep low, and then when they come to fight with them, they either surrender or they fight until the death. And the Druze chose to fight until the death and not let them take their women, and thank God Israel came and helped them. Now I want to ask you another question, and I know you're not representing the Druze in Syria. I know this is, your own. What would you think if you could have had right now a magic staff, and in a hit of a staff, the Druze can have their own country, or the Druze can go back to Syria, or the Druze can go and be part of Israel? Which you think, and there's no right question or wrong here, what would you think would be the best solution?
Personally, my own opinion, I think that it should be part of Israel. That's my own personal opinion. I know that not everyone is agreeable on that part, but I also think that if it's going to be its own state, it should get financial support and like have involvement from other states far away from Syria, far away from countries like Syria. That would be, I think that would be the solution if it is going to be its own state.
And do you think if Israel would have taken the Druze from Syria, they will be able to assimilate with the Israeli culture, with the Israeli Jewish and Christian and Druze values that we have in Israel, democracy, Western values?
I think we Druze all share the same thoughts on that. As long as we get to practice our own religion, as long as we are in peace, as long as we have safety, I think there will be no problem. And the Druze are very loyal. They are a very loyal group of people. And we saw that back then with Sultan Basha al-Atrash. But this time,
yeah, we saw it with all the wars in Israel. We saw it on October 7. We saw it where the Druze were shoulder to shoulder with their Jewish brothers and the Christians and the Muslims in Israel. They went and they fought, and they're still fighting to defend and protect their Jewish brothers and sisters and fight to defend Israel, because Israel is our country. I think that's one of the reasons, when I was telling you should come and visit Israel, because I always, when I meet Druze from Syria, and I asked her before you came on the show, I asked her if she would have loved to come in Israel, and she said that she would have loved to, but then they were always afraid because if they come there, they would never be able to go back to Syria. That was back then. And I told her now that this is not an option. I definitely think you should, because let me tell you this. If you walk in the street of Israel and someone sees the star that you have right now, the Druze star, you will not believe the smile they have on the face. People will tell you that they love you. People will tell you that they love your people. People will invite you to their homes. People will start telling you stories how they remember when they went to a Druze village when they were this age or this age, and how they got hosted there, and the hospitality there. People in Israel, sometimes the Jews in Israel, I feel they love the Druze more than they love even themselves, because the Druze have shown them what great citizens they are, what class A citizens. They work, they pay taxes, they support the country, they go and join they basically put their shoulder under the stretcher in every way they can to help that country succeed. And that's what I hope that also Europe will start understanding, that there is a difference between the different minority groups that are coming from the Middle East. Not
Yeah.
everybody is and not everybody's a jihadist. And there's ones that don't want to convert you. There's ones that don't want to change your way of life and take your little daughters and I don't know what. There's ones that just want to be thankful that you allow them to come and stay in your country and want to help that country becomes a better society. That's what we really hope. I want to ask you, going back to what you said in the beginning, walking in the campus in Norway and having Muslim students coming and telling you that you're a pig and that they should slaughter you and even worse stuff. Do you feel that it's changing for the better? Do you feel that the Norwegian people are waking up and realizing this is wrong and trying to put a stop for it?
No, I think not only Norway, but Europe and America too is going downwards on when it comes to this. Because you saw the demonstration in the US, for example, and in rest of the Europe with little girls. Like, it's bizarre to think about. Yeah, I think it's bizarre to think about, and I think it's even weirder that the government here and in the US and in the rest of Europe isn't taking this seriously. Like, we need to wake up.
I would expect if someone will walk, let me ask you this. If someone will go to the university in Norway and walk in the hallway and he will see a black girl and he will start telling her, "You filthy pig, you monkey, go back to Africa, you should be a slave." Do you think that Norwegians will care?
Yeah.
They will be in the streets, right?
Yeah.
If someone will go and start standing and saying, Hitler was right, the Holocaust, we should, kick all the not white people from this country and make this country white again, and we'll start, wearing Nazi flags on his shoulders. Do you think Norwegians will care?
Yeah, absolutely.
So why don't they care when you have Muslims walking in your universities and threatening peaceful minorities like the Druze and other minority groups from Syria mostly, and telling them they want to kill them and telling them that they're filthy pigs just because they're not Muslims like them? Why don't they care about that?
Maybe because we are so few. That's one of the reasons. Maybe it's not that important like the other things that is going on in the world now for them, even though this is starting in Syria, in Sweden. But believe me, it's already in Europe, it's already in the US, it's all over the world. And for them to like not pay that much attention to it now, it will cause very big consequences in a few years. I don't think it's going to take that much time to realize the big mistake. Because
Yeah.
if they are now going out with their little girls and showing the scissors and this type of way, it is going downwards really fast for Europe and America.
You know what I think also, to add to what you said? I think in Europe they were fooled for too long to believe that is a minority and that Muslims are victims. And then they got crippled so badly by political correctness that they feel that if a white person will go and say something Nazi, easily will go on him. And if a white person will go and say something racist towards a black person, easily, like they will just unleash all hell on him. And that's good. No one should say
Yeah.
Nazi stuff, no one should say racist stuff. But if a Muslim person goes and says that he want to kill you, he want to I don't want to say that word, your daughters, he want to do this to you, do that to you, because you're not from his same religion. So it's definitely because of racism and different religious sectarians. Then they feel like they can't condemn him because I know he is the victim, But guys, no, Islam is not the victim. What world are you talking about? There's 2 billion Muslims around the world. You know how many bad things are happening in Muslim countries? They believe that marrying young girls is okay, but eating bacon is wrong. They believe that shouting Allahu Akbar and beheading children is okay, but having a woman show her hair and show her God-given beautiful face to the world, then she should be beaten up. There's so many wrong things that are happening in Muslim countries, and they are not the victims there. The victims are the people that they are forcing the Sharia law on. The victim are the people that they are forcing the sectarian racism and crimes that they're doing about it. The victims are the Druze, the Alawites, the Christians, the Kurds, the Yazidis, the Copts, you name it, the Jews. So many victims are under them, but it's not the Muslims who are the victims there. But for some reason, for some bizarre reason in Europe, it's upside down. You're not allowed to talk about it. You're not allowed to criticize Islam because you might offend a bunch of radical jihadists. Like it's unbelievable. Why should you? It should be okay to offend these people. Someone who believes that it's okay to beat up little girls because they showed their hair, it's okay to offend that person. And by offending him, you tell him that it's wrong what he's doing. That is not only okay, that is a moral obligation that we have. And when you have a Druze student like Lina walking in the university and people start shouting at her and threatening her and her sister just because they have the Druze star on their shirt, you know what that reminds me? Europe had that chapter before. Europe have been to that chapter in their history where people had to hide their identity or else they will be killed. And let me tell you something, and mark it right now, and I hope you're never going to have to watch this video and say I told you so, but if you don't wake up and you kick out this Muslim invasion out of Europe, you're going to have it again. I don't care if I'm offending anyone right now by watching this, and if there's a good, kind-hearted Muslims out there, and there's plenty, I have friends of them, then I'm not here to try not to offend them. I'm here to encourage them to do the right thing and to rise up. You should go to these universities and tell these students that's not the way of Islam. That's not a way that we teach our people. That's not the way that is dignified in the eyes of Allah. They should be the one that should go and condemn that. So you should not decide not to. I don't want to generalize. It's not easy. It's very easy here. When you come and say that there's racism among Islam, it's like shooting with a shotgun into a scoop full of chickens. You're going to hit something.
Yeah.
You're going to hit because it's so easy. For every one that is not, there's like 9 that are.
Yeah.
9 that
But
believe that marry 6 years little girls. It is not okay to marry a girl, she's 6 years old. It is not okay to sleep with a girl when she's 9 years old. You know how many of them believe that this is okay? It is not okay to kill the Jews. It is not okay to kill the Druze. So you shouldn't be afraid of offending these people in the name of diversity, literally choking Europe. Sorry, Lina, you have something to say.
No, I just want to say, like, as you say, I think the good ones, the good Muslims, should speak up so that these terrorists and these extremists and these Islamists don't ruin the whole picture of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I once had an argument. I had a lot of these debates. Nothing was in public because I was not doing these things for media and social media. I would just go and talk to people. And I was talking about how wrong it is that in Palestine, mothers are teaching their children to become shaheeds and saying that they want their children to die and that they're going to bring more children. And then a smart woman came up and she says, how dare you say that? If I was a mother and I would have lost my child, you just said that all mothers in Palestine want to lose their child. Shame on you. Then I came and I looked at her and I said, shame on you for politicizing this nonsense that you just said. You should be ashamed. And everybody was like, what are you doing, man? If she really lost her kid. I said, no. What did I say wrong? Did I say it's good that children are dying? No, absolutely. It's terrible. Did I say that it's good that mothers want their children to die? Absolutely not. Did I mention something that is actually happening? Yes. Go out there to the internet. You'll see hundreds of videos of Palestinian moms saying, I wish my kid will die. I'm happy that he died, and I'm going to bring more kids so they can go and blow buses as well and kill and die and become shaheeds. So if that woman actually, truly cared about children, she would not come and try to silence me, because me and her should be on the same side. She will actually go to these Palestinian women and tell them, stop teaching death to your children. Start teaching them love, education, art, music, science. Teach them about Nikola Tesla, about Thomas Edison. Teach them about the light bulb. Teach them about things that really made the world a better place. Instead of just teaching them about one book that goes and teach them to go and kill people, and if they eat bacon, then they should go to hell. Like, there's so many other things that they should teach. And I'm not saying there isn't good teachings that you can take from that book. There's probably good teaching you take from any book, but start teaching them life. And so I went on her, and she was like this, you know. But that's the thing. They try to shame you all the time. And most people don't know how to answer. Most people don't know because, oh no, they called me an Islamophobe. Let me ask you this, Lina. If you're walking right now in university and a guy breaks into your class and shouts Allahu Akbar, what's going to be the first thing you're going to do? Allahu
Run.
Akbar! Run.
Run. Yeah.
Why is it?
Jump out a window. Yeah.
Why is it that this is the reaction? If someone
Because
walks, because of what?
you saw the video, the one you showed first. They are teaching them from young age to kill non-Muslims. These extremists, these terrorists, are putting this fear of the word Allahu Akbar now is, when you think of it, you think of bombs.
Mm-hmm.
You think of, oh, okay, I'm going to get killed now. They are,
So
yeah.
if you're sitting now in a bar and we said someone just walks in, shouts Allahu Akbar, your first instinct, you said, is just flip the table, jump out of the window, run away. Okay.
Yeah.
If you're sitting in a bar right now in Norway with your friends and someone just walks into the bar, opens the door, it's a cold winter outside, and shouts, Merry Christmas, what are you going to do?
Merry Christmas to you too. Yeah.
Someone walks into the bar, same thing, winter, opens the door, wind is flying out, it's dark outside, it says, Happy Hanukkah, everyone. What are you going to do? Shalom
Right,
Aleichem.
smile. Yeah.
You think it's a joke. You think someone is coming to tell a nice, funny joke. You think it's like, okay, celebration, Adam Sandler, I don't know what. Happy Hanukkah, everyone. Someone walks and says, Allahu Akbar, everybody's going to flip out, run, scream, and think, probably have a near-death experience in their mind. Maybe need to go to a psychologist, because so many of them are literally soft and have never really faced like real life situations. But bottom line is, here lays the problem. So to come and shame people for being Islamophobes because they're afraid to call out racism is a culture suicide, I feel. And I'm so sorry that a young Druze woman like yourself is feeling that, going to universities in Europe and have to feel that, and that they're not taking this seriously. And I really hope that this video can reach more people and other people to come. Someone is saying, I'll shit my pants here. Exactly. Start waking up people. Anyway, I just want to go and say a few thank yous to some people here, and then we can start maybe wrapping up the show. Unusual AI, my man, brother, you are amazing. You gave such a, this is honestly, thank you so much. This helps the show continue. This helps me keep doing the content that I'm doing. For those of you who don't know, I took a long break from my job. I had a great job before and decided to take a break from it. So now I am doing this out of my own free time, my own free will, and this has became a full-time job. So I appreciate so much any super thanks and stuff like that. I truly appreciate your invaluable work. I can't thank you enough, both. Thank you so much, brother. We appreciate that. Someone here asked a question in the beginning, and you can feel free. His name is Social Digital Studio. By the way, do you ask how are the other minorities handling, etc.? Heard the Kurds recently had issues. Did you hear about the Kurds?
Yeah, they are also facing the same problems as the Druze and the Christians. There was one of many videos yesterday about have you seen it, the Christian boys who is getting beaten up because they're Christians, and they are telling them
To bark.
bark like a dog. Yeah.
Is that a recent video or that's an old video that surfaced?
I have seen it recently. I haven't seen it before, but I think, anyways, it's the in this time period, and the same things are happening with the Christians and the Kurds. They had many problems recently now with the new regime,
Yeah,
so
you
they are
see,
also facing the same problems.
for those
We
you
are
don't know,
all
you
in the
see in
same
this video.
boat.
Yeah, you see in this video a bunch of government soldiers and Bedouins standing with ISIS and Al Qaeda flags on them, and basically a bunch of young Christians on their knees facing the wall, and they put their legs on their heads and hold their guns to their heads and start telling them bark, bark, and they're all like, barking out of fear. And that's a humiliation tactic that they've done many times because for some reason in Islam they think that dogs and pigs is something really bad, and it's the ultimate humiliation to have someone be called a pig or behave like a dog. So that's terrible. But I want to ask you, why do you think that they hate the Kurds so much? Because the Kurds are Muslims as well.
Yeah, I think it's because they are not doing it the same way as they are doing. I cannot speak for every Kurd that I know, but I think that they like to be free also,
Yeah,
practice the religion as they want to. Because every religion is beautiful as long as it is kept private between yourself and God.
yeah. Amen to that. So that's interesting. So anyone that tries to go free there, they basically want to kill in Syria. That's what it seems so like right now.
Yeah,
And
that's the new Syria.
that's the new Syria. Do you consider yourself still Syrians if someone asks you where you're from?
No, I don't know what to say anymore. I just say I'm from Sweden because I'm ashamed that I do not want to be a Syrian. I do not consider myself Syrian. I do not have the same principles as the new Syria. So I'm from Sweden, I'm Druze, and I'm proud of that. And I leave it like that.
Amen. Okay, another social digital. He says, dumb question. Seeing and hearing the attacks, why haven't other villages taken actions to escape? Or, well, a lot of villages took actions to escape, and a lot of brave man fighters, I made a video about it, gave their life to buy them time, Christians and Druze, and they managed to escape. And whoever managed to escape to the Druze mountain survived. And the reason it survived is because the Druze fighters fought them off, and because Israel came and beat the crap out of the Jawlani and the ISIS guys and blew up their tanks, so they couldn't go and slaughter innocent people. Yes, someone answered that here. All right, let's see if there's more questions, guys. I'll do my best to answer them. Let's see. Mansu Ashka, what do you think about an option that Israel would become confederation of ethnicities with the Druze and Christians and others that could give Israel the legitimacy to absorb them? I think amen to that, Amichai. I think let's just imagine right now. Let's throw an idea. Imagine the Middle East was like Europe or the United States of America, okay? Different states under the same flag. And the same flag, let's say right now, is Israel. So we have Jewish and democracy values mingled together, because that's what Israel. It's a democratical state, it's a Jewish state. And now you have the Druze have their own region, they have their own flag, they have their own some educational law, some just like in Germany. In Germany, you have different educational law between Berlin, between Saxony, between this, different holidays. I tell you what will happen. The Middle East will probably, and you have the Christians, and you'll have like everyone have their own federation under the Israeli flag. The Middle East will probably be one of the most richest, most successful, most peaceful place on the face of this earth. Have perfect weather, have very smart people. It's just going to become such a beautiful place. So if you look at it that way, if you take Islam out of the Middle East right now, and let's say put them in a Muslim country, let them play jihadist Islam stuff by themselves, all the rest will flourish. The Druze will flourish, the Christians will flourish, the Jews will flourish. Everybody will live peacefully and will have a great life. So how come am I the only one that sees it that way? Like literally, I know I'm not the only one, but how come this is not so easily noticed? Because people are ignorant and people don't know. They've never lived there, or they're just believing all these lies.
And it's
Uh,
not trendy.
and it's not trendy. We don't have good songs like From the River to the Sea. That's true. Let's see. All right. Lina, if you have 1 more minute or 2 more minutes to share something with the world, what would that be?
I think that we should focus on the situation right now in Sweden and try to get the help that they need to survive the winter and to survive, basically, and to start building up Sweden and making it its own state. I think that would be a very good way to finish this podcast, because that's my big message here. We should look at the students, Druze students and Christian students who are getting beaten up. We should look at how the winter is coming and there is no way to, like, we need to get fuel, we need to get blankets, wool, and also get help to the people who are renting or are still in their own homes too. They are also just as important.
Amen to that, Lina. Amen to that. That's beautiful. And I agree with you and I join you in that. Lina, thank you so much for coming here. Thank you for all the people
Thank
who
you for
watch.
having me.
Just want to remind, by the way, Lina and her sister are managing the page of Druze in Norway, I think.
Yeah, that's right.
How is it written exactly? Druze in
I
Norway?
can I can write it in the comments.
Write it in the comments and I'll share it here. Go and follow them, follow their journey, follow their reporting, support them, help them increase their voice. You can write it in the you probably can't, so just write it to me
Yeah, I will do it.
and then I'll write it here.
No, it's
Here.
not.
Druze in. So guys, it's called, oh, I have some kind of German keyboard, so my Y became a Z and
Yeah.
my Z. I don't know how to fix that. I'm a boomer. Druze in or here. Guys, this is, you go and you find them on Instagram. That's their page where they share more and more updates about what's happening in Syria, what's happening to our people, not only the Druze, but also the Christians and other people around. Thank you so much. I've been reading the comments here. I'm sorry if I couldn't answer some of the questions just because there's quite a lot and I appreciate so much. I just couldn't read all of them. But I appreciate everyone that came and watched this video here, and anyone contributed to the channel and that gave us all the kind words that you people have given. Honestly, it would have been so hard, even impossible, for us to keep going with all the hate that we're facing around the world. And in my case, it's double hate. It's being hated because I'm an Israeli, it's being hated because I'm a Druze now. And for many of us out there, the Druze and the Jews and the minorities living in Europe, stay strong, and hopefully our Christian brothers and sisters in Europe or atheist brothers and sisters will wake up to see that we are sharing the same values like they do, and that we're just trying to warn them and they stop calling us Islamophobes. But anyway, until then, don't do anything stupid. In general, don't do anything that I would do. Lina, stay in the show. I'm just going to end the stream here.